Sarah says, "I shouldn't have come here. The last person who tried to find out what happened in this house disappeared." The old wooden door slams shut behind Sarah. The echo of the heavy impact fills the air, leaving her alone in the dim, musty hallway. She freezes, her breath catching in her throat as she hears faint whispers around her, too soft to catch, but definitely there. The silence that follows is unnerving. Her flashlight flickers, casting long, distorted shadows across the walls. On November 25th, 2002, a girl named Sarah had a deep passion for exploring abandoned places. One night, as she scrolled through her phone, a post caught her eye. It described a house that was both locked and haunted by a ghost. The post mentioned that many people had attempted to explore the house, but none had ever come back after entering. Intrigued, Sarah began researching the house online, only to find the same chilling details every time. But no matter how many times she read it, she couldn't shake the disbelief. Driven by curiosity and a sense of invincibility, Sarah made the fateful decision to visit the house. That's where our story begins. Sarah says to herself, "I've been chasing this story for months, but something doesn't feel right." Her footsteps creak on the old wooden floorboards as she moves forward, her heartbeat quickening. The air is thick with dust, and every breath she takes feels like she's inhaling the house itself. The walls seem to close in on her, the floorboards groaning with each step. The wind howls outside, rattling the windows, but the house remains unnervingly still. Sarah's flashlight flickers again, and for a brief moment, she sees something out of the corner of her eye. Movement. A shadow, tall and thin, darting past a door frame. Her heart races as she whips the beam around, but there's nothing there. Just nerves? Get a grip. She moves deeper into the manor, the weight of the darkness pressing down on her. Each room she enters seems to grow colder, the temperature dropping with every passing moment. In one of the rooms, she notices an old mirror hanging crookedly on the wall. She steps closer, wiping away the dust, and the reflection is wrong. Behind her, in the mirror, stands a woman, pale, motionless, her face ghostly white, with hollow eyes staring directly at Sarah. Her lips are twisted into a faint smile, an unsettling, knowing smile. Sarah whips around, but there's no one there. The room is empty. The woman is gone. Sarah says, breathing heavily, whispering, "What the hell?" Her flashlight trembles in her hand, casting an eerie glow over the room. The whispers are louder now, swirling around her like an unseen wind, growing more frantic, more urgent. Sarah says desperately, "Who's there? What do you want?" The whispers stop as suddenly as they started, leaving only an oppressive silence behind. Sarah's heart thunders in her chest, but she forces herself to move. She takes one step toward the corner of the room, where a dusty table holds an old photograph. Sarah picks it up, her fingers trembling as she wipes away the grime. The photo is of a woman, the same pale face, only this time she's smiling, standing in front of the mansion. The photo seems to stare back at Sarah, the woman's eyes glinting with an unsettling sense of recognition. Sarah says, soft confused, "Why does this feel so familiar?" The air grows heavier, suffocating almost. She can feel the weight of something watching her, something lurking in the shadows. Her skin prickles as if every inch of her is under a microscope, waiting for the moment when the walls will close in. Without warning, the floor beneath her creaks, groaning as if something deep within the house is shifting. A door slams open on its own, and the whispers return, louder now, distorted, overlapping. They're coming from somewhere far off, echoing through the walls. Sarah follows the sound, a sense of dread creeping over her with every step. Sarah says, nervously, "This is insane! I have to get out of here." She reaches a hidden door, partially obscured behind an old bookshelf. It opens with a groan, revealing a narrow, steep staircase leading down into darkness. The air is damp, colder, thick with decay. Her flashlight flickers once more, and she feels a cold breeze blow up from the depths of the basement, carrying with it a faint smell of rot. Sarah hesitates for a moment before descending the stairs, each step echoing through the oppressive silence. At the bottom, she finds herself in a small, windowless room. The walls are lined with shelves, each filled with dust-covered books and strange objects, an odd assortment of relics, old and worn. But one thing stands out. On a small table in the center of the room is an old, leather-bound diary. Sarah approaches it cautiously, the pages yellowed with age. As she flips through, her eyes widen. The entries are chilling, describing strange occurrences, whispers in the walls, and mysterious disappearances. The final entry, written in a shaky hand, is the most unsettling. Sarah says, reading aloud, "They're here. They don't want to be forgotten. The whispers, they speak of an old curse. They say the house remembers. The flashlight flickers and goes out, plunging Sarah into darkness. She gasps, desperately shaking it, trying to get it working again. Suddenly, the whispers return, louder and clearer now, surrounding her from all sides. Sarah says, "What do you want from me?" The air grows colder, the temperature dropping to a numbing chill. The shadows in the room start to shift, moving as if alive. The walls seem to stretch and groan, and the whispers intensify, now forming words she can understand. Ghost says, "You've opened the door. You'll never leave." The shadows around her coalesce into a figure, tall and gaunt. It's the woman from the photograph. Her face is now twisted, eyes dark and hollow, lips curled into a sinister grin. Sarah says, shaking, I didn't mean to. Please, Ghost cannot escape. We are waiting. You will be forgotten, just like the others. Sarah spins on her heel and runs, her pulse hammering in her ears. The hallways stretch endlessly, twisting, warping. Doors slam shut just as she reaches them. She tries another path, only to find herself right back where she started, in that same cursed room. She throws herself against the door, her fingers clawing at the wood, but it won't. The air around her thickens, pressing in like invisible hands. Her screams are swallowed, muffled, as though the house itself is devouring them. Then, footsteps, slow, deliberate. The sound echoes unnaturally, growing louder though they barely move. Sarah whips around, her breath caught in her throat. The ghost is behind her now, closer than before. Her head tilts, that eerie, knowing smile stretching across her pale face. Ghost says smilingly, "You're part of the story now. You'll never leave. We all stay here forever." The floor beneath Sarah trembles. Cracks splinter through the wood, spreading like veins of darkness. Suddenly it gives way. She screams as she plummets into the abyss, her body weightless, the cold air rushing past her. The whispers rise into a deafening chorus, voices overlapping, merging into one horrifying sound. And then, silence, nothingness. Sarah says, "Too late. I understand now. The house doesn't just trap you, it becomes you." The darkness shifts. A single photograph rests on the floor, its surface coated in dust. The edges are curled, aged as though it has always been there. The image Sarah, but not her. The face in the picture is warped, her eyes hollow pits of blackness, her lips twisted into that same chilling, unnatural grin. A faint whisper lingers in the air. Ghost says, "We never leave. We only wait." Here we have reached the end of today's story. If you liked it, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notifications button. By the way, YouTube's algorithm says that you will like this video, so why don't you try watching it?
Hey, what's that? Footprints.
Sam!
God damn it. I'm sure he's a ways off by now.